The Diddy trial has aired some very shocking truths that have left many flabbers absolutely gasted. Today we're exploring something completely different. What if the notorious music mogul Diddy Sean Combs existed in the Jujutsu Kaisen universe? What would be his ability as a sorcerer, and how does his presence change things? Buckle up, because this Diddy party is about to get wild. So let's dive into Diddy's origin story. Imagine this: a young boy born with an incredibly unique curse technique. Diddy gained this ability from a young age when he was forced to fight in gladiator matches. Over time, he had gotten really good at evading opponents bigger than him. This experience eventually manifested as his curse technique called slippery swagger. It's a shimmering, oil-like substance that coats his body, making him practically untouchable. What makes slippery swagger truly unique is how it adapts to the attacker's momentum. The more force behind an attack, the more dramatically it gets redirected, sometimes even back at the attacker. This creates a defensive style when Diddy barely needs to move, letting opponents essentially defeat themselves with their own aggression. His fighting style evolved from years in the gladiator pits, where being small and physically weaker forced him to develop something flashy and unpredictable. Diddy moves like he's dancing to music only he can hear, sliding between attacks with impossible angles, spinning away from danger with theatrical flair, and striking with quick, precisely timed counterattacks when opponents are off balance. But having unique powers in the Jujutsu world isn't always a blessing. As a child, Diddy was discovered by a ruthless cursed sorcerer who went by the name Black Mask. This guy was bad news. He basically forced kids with unique abilities into cursed gladiator battles for the entertainment of the wealthy elite. Now picture young Diddy, trembling in these underground arenas, forced to perform like some kind of circus act. Black Mask would parade him around, making him use his slippery powers in humiliating ways just to get some laughs from rich people sipping champagne. "Make the energy dance, boy!" Black Mask would command, and Diddy had no choice but to obey. As the youngest and physically weakest gladiator, Diddy quickly realized raw power wouldn't keep him alive, but the crowds loved entertainment, and he discovered that he put on a good show. The spectators would cheer for him, sometimes even demanding his survival after a loss. "The kid's got style!" they shout out as he dodged and slide, adding dramatic spins and taunts that had no combat purposes, but delighted the audience. Seeing potential, Black Mask handed him a microphone during one particularly close match. "Make them love you," he ordered, "and they'll keep you alive." The microphone became Diddy's trademark. Between evasive maneuvers, he'd spit freestyle verses about his opponent's weaknesses or his own greatness. The crowds went wild for it. A gladiator who can entertain while fighting was rare. His rhymes became as famous as his slippery technique, each taunt and boast perfectly timed with his defensive movements. At first, the microphone was just a prop, a simple tool to amplify his voice. But over time, Diddy began channeling his cursed energy through it, unconsciously infusing the object with his will during particularly intense battles. What began as a symbol of his performer status would eventually become something far more dangerous. A cursed tool capable of amplifying and transforming his abilities in ways even Black Mask never anticipated. But everything changed during one particular fight. Diddy was maybe 15, facing off against a fire user in the arena. The arena fell silent as Diddy faced his most dangerous opponent yet, a sorcerer whose curse technique manifested as raging crimson flames that warped the very air. "Fire melts oil," the flame user taunted, unleashing a vortex of heat that ignored Diddy's normal impenetrable defense. For the first time, slippery swagger wasn't enough. The flames clung to his oily aura, burning through his protection. Diddy was losing badly. His skin blistered as he desperately tried to dodge, but the flames pursued him relentlessly. The crowd that usually cheered for him was silent, sensing their favorite entertainer was about to fall. Blood running down his face, Diddy gripped that microphone tightly. He'd never consciously channeled cursed energy through it before, but desperation forced evolution. The mic began to glow with an eerie blue light as his energy poured into it. The flame user laughed, launching a massive fireball directly at Diddy's chest. "It's over, performer!" In that moment of absolute desperation, something clicked. Diddy thrust his microphone forward and shouted words that would later become his signature. "Take that! Take that!" Time seemed to slow. The fireball made contact with the microphone's head, but instead of incinerating Diddy, it froze midair, shifting from angry red to cool blue. Then, to everyone's shock, the blue flames reversed direction, hurling back toward the flame user with twice their original intensity. The stunned opponent barely managed to dodge his own remixed technique. What did you just do?" you! Diddy stood tall, microphone gleaming with power, a new confidence in his eyes. I just remixed your track, baby. Made it better. Take that! The crowd erupted in wild cheers as Diddy discovered his true power, the ability to capture, transform, and redirect the curse technique of others, all through his cursed tool microphone. After witnessing this new power, Black Mass pushed Diddy harder than ever before. Training became torture. Fights became more dangerous. Black Mass saw Diddy not just as entertainment now, but as a weapon. A tool for blackmail against other sorcerers who crossed him. But here's where Diddy's story takes its first dark turn. During these years of abuse, Diddy had been quietly collecting secrets. Every sorcerer he fought, every wealthy client who came to watch, he listened, observed, and remembered their whispered conversations, their darkest secrets. And when Black Mass finally pushed too far, when he crossed a wrong clan of sorcerers, Diddy saw his opportunity. He anonymously leaked one of Black Mask's biggest secrets to this clan. The next day, Black Mask was found dead, his curse technique completely reversed against him. Freedom at last. But freedom came with a price. Diddy had learned the most valuable lesson: knowledge is power, and secrets are the ultimate currency. He embraced a new philosophy: love is just another form of control. And so began the rise of the Bad Boy Dynasty. It's safe to say after this experience, he snaps. He embraces a use them before they can use you philosophy. Years pass, and Diddy has now built a massive kingdom, using his musical talents and curse techniques to achieve wealth and fame throughout the Jujutsu world. No longer the desperate gladiator fighting for survival, he's now known as the Remix King, a sorcerer who climbed from the underground pits to legendary status. His reputation spreads far and wide, drawing both admirers seeking to learn from him and enemies hoping to claim his position. But Diddy has grown cautious with success, surrounding himself with loyal followers who form what he calls his Bad Boy Dynasty. When whispers reach him about Jujutsu High, a school filled with promising young sorcerers with unique techniques, his interest is immediately piqued. These students represent fresh talent, fresh techniques to remix, and fresh power to add to his growing empire. What better time to make his move than when he learns that Gojo Satoru, the strongest sorcerer and biggest potential obstacle, is away on an extended mission. The power vacuum at Jujutsu High presents the perfect opportunity. Diddy arrives in Tokyo with style and swagger, expensive suit, designer shades, and that signature shimmering cursed energy coating his skin like the finest oil. But here's the thing, he doesn't show up as a villain. No, Diddy's way too smart for that. He presents himself as a savior, a mentor, a guide for struggling young sorcerers. What better way to gain their trust than by pretending to be their friends? And then the word begins to spread quickly about this newcomer who calls himself the Remix King. Students and young sorcerers start whispering about this special gray sorcerer who can supposedly help them enhance their curse techniques. He touched me with sword and said something. All of a sudden her blade cut through just about anything, one student told his friend. Principal Yaga and the other teachers are cautious but curious. After all, with Gojo gone and curses becoming more aggressive, they could use the help of another special grade. And Diddy knows exactly how to play his cards. He's respectful to the faculty, charming to the students, and most importantly, he gets results. The students he works with genuinely do become stronger, but what no one sees are their private sessions, where Diddy sits down with each student and says, "For I can truly help you, you need to trust me completely. Tell me your deepest secret, something you've never told anyone." And one by one, they confide in him, not realizing that with each confession, Diddy creates a cursed receipt, a slip of black paper where their secrets are recorded in his cursed energy. And so the Diddy army continues to grow, but among the few who still don't trust Diddy is Megami. More and more students flock to Diddy, joining what they proudly call the Bad Boy Dynasty. He notices how they start dressing differently, talking differently, and seem almost obsessively loyal to their new mentor. There's something off about him, Megami tells Yuji and Nobara. Have you noticed how Toji hasn't said a word against Diddy, even though he was skeptical at first? And Panda seems to be avoiding him completely. Yuji suggests giving Diddy a chance. He's helping people get stronger, and we need all the help we can get with all these curses appearing, right? But Megami isn't convinced. Diddy is using Black Mask's moves to the fullest. He can expose anyone's secret, or worse, uses cursed energy to amplify the shame and guilt associated with it. The Bad Boy Dynasty was slowly becoming a faction within Jujutsu society, and with each new member, Diddy's influence grows stronger. Young sorcerers from all over Japan are seeking him out, drawn by rumors of his ability to enhance their techniques. The initiation ritual remains the same. Share your deepest secret, receive Diddy's guidance. But what these hopeful sorcerers don't realize is that with each confession, Diddy's web of control tightens. The cursed receipt piles up, with each one becoming a potential weapon in Diddy's arsenal. Now knowing Diddy, his targets are not just random. He's strategic. He targets sorcerers with connections to important families, with rare techniques, or with access to classified classified information. His dynasty isn't just growing in numbers, it's growing in influence. Meanwhile, Nobara has started noticing strange behavior among her classmates. Normally outspoken students becoming quiet when certain topics come up. Friends acting against their usual character. And most concerning, students carrying out actions that seem to benefit Diddy but harm others. During a joint mission, Nobara witnesses something disturbing. One of Diddy's followers deliberately sabotages another sorcerer's technique during a cursed confrontation. The follower's eyes are filled with shame, but they do it anyway. When confronted afterward, the follower seems terrified, repeatedly muttering, He knows what I did." Nobara begins piecing things together, realizing that the dynasty isn't just a training group, it's very akin to a cult. She starts investigating discreetly, talking to students who seem to be on the fringes of Diddy's influence. But Diddy's network is vast, and word gets back to him quickly. He knows that Nobara is becoming a threat, and in the world of Jujutsu sorcery, threats need to be neutralized. Nobara's investigation continues, eventually leading her to follow one of Diddy's more reluctant followers, a second-year student who seems to be acting against her will. She tracks them to an abandoned building on the outskirts of Tokyo, where she witnesses something disturbing. The student is sabotaging protective barriers placed by the Jujutsu higher-ups, all while crying silently. When confronted, the student panics. "You don't understand! He has my cursed receipt! If anyone finds out what I did!" But before they can finish, the air around them grows thick with a slick, shimmering energy. The student's eyes widen in terror. "He's here! Run!" But it's too late. Diddy emerges from the shadows, his cursed energy coating the ground beneath him like oil. "Nobara Kugasaki," he says, his voice smooth as silk. "Such a talented young sorcerer. So curious, too." Nobara readies her hammer and nails, but Diddy is faster. With a flick of his wrist, the floor beneath her turns slippery. She struggles to maintain balance as Diddy approaches. "I've been watching you, asking questions, poking around in my business. I respect the hustle, but..." His smile fades. Nobody investigates the bad boy dynasty without consequences. Diddy's cursed energy surges, and suddenly the world around them shifts. Domain expansion, bad boy oasis. The abandoned building melts away, replaced by a shimmering tropical paradise. Neon palm trees sway to an unheard rhythm. The ground beneath them is now a glossy, black surface that reflects their images like mirrors. "Welcome to my world," Diddy announces, spreading his arms wide. "A place where secrets can't stay hidden." Nobara tries to move, but her feet slip on the oily surface. She tries to summon her straw doll technique, but her cursed energy feels sluggish, hard to control. "In my domain, everyone reveals their truth," Diddy explains, circling her. "The harder you try to hide it, the weaker you become. So tell me, Nobara Kugasaki, what's your deepest, darkest secret?" A force beyond her control begins to pull at Nobara's mind. She grits her teeth, fighting against it. But Diddy's domain is powerful. Words begin to form on her lips against her will. "You see, my domain was born from all the cursed receipts and secrets I collected over time," he says. "I've refined my domain to be unstoppable." Her lips begin to move without her consent, and after she is done, we see her face twist in horror and shame. Diddy's expression shifts from curiosity to shock, then to cruel delight. Diddy's laughter heightens as he taunts her. "Don't you feel bad about beating up a girl?" Nobara asks him amidst tears in her eyes. "Oh, don't worry. This ain't my first rodeo." He then creates a black slip of paper, a cursed receipt. "I never would have guessed that about you, Kugasaki. So that's why you left your hometown." Nobara's usual confidence crumbles. Her face pales, and for the first time, we see genuine fear in her eyes. Whatever secret she revealed, it's something that strikes at the core of who she is. Just as Diddy reaches towards her, a familiar black flash technique tears through the edge of his domain. "Nobara!" Yuji calls out, rushing towards her, but his movements are sluggish. He notices the oily substance coating the entire domain. Megumi stares around with disgust. Megumi summons Nue, who swoops in to catch Nobara, and then turns around to pick Megumi and Yuji. Diddy loads up an attack, sending a cursed receipt aimed at Yuji, but Nue dodges. Diddy clicked his tongue in annoyance. Uninvited guests at the Diddy party would only get oiled up. Nobara quickly composes herself, hiding her shaken state as Yuji and Megumi reach her. "I'm fine," she insists. but her hands are trembling. What happened? What did he do to you? Megumi demands. Nobara shakes her head. His domain makes you spill your darkest secrets, she says, but she doesn't elaborate further. Yuji's rage is fired up and he balls his fist. Megumi carries Nobara as they all try to move, but the oil prevents them from moving. Yuji struggles, still unable to gain as much traction. Without another word, Yuji charges in first. His enhanced physical strength seemed like an advantage against Diddy's slippery technique, but every punch slides off Diddy's body. Diddy just stands there, looking amused as he continues his attack. Megumi summons his Shikigami, trying to attack from multiple angles. Diddy deftly avoids most, but when Great Serpent makes contact, Diddy smiles. He whispers, touching the Shikigami. Instantly, Great Serpent's form wavers. Its fur becomes coated with oil. Its eyes glow as it turns against Megumi. What did you do? Megumi demands, barely dodging his own Shikigami's attack. Take that! Take that! Diddy explains with his amusement still in place. I remix other people's techniques. Make them my own. Make them better. Nobara tries a different approach, using her resonance technique to attack Diddy from a distance. For a moment, it seems effective. Diddy winces at the damage transfers to him, but then he laughs. Nice try, Kugisaki, but I know your weakness now. He pulls out her cursed receipt and Nobara freezes. Should I tell your friends what you're hiding? How you... Shut up! Nobara screams as she sends her next attack wildly. Yuji, seeing Nobara's distress, taps into more of his strength. He declares that no matter what she's done, he is still her friend. His determination seems to strike a chord. For a brief moment, Diddy's confident facade cracks, revealing annoyance. Friends? There's no such thing. There's only those who control and those who are controlled. Yuji presses the advantage, getting in close despite the slippery barrier. I heard what you did, how you killed all those people. Diddy tells Yuji as he dodges his attack. Now, if that ain't code, I don't know what is. Yuji is stunned for a second, but he brushes past it. This the best you can do? Diddy smiles. We're the same, you and I. Megumi comes in from the left, landing a kick that bounces off Diddy. Seeing his attack is being slowed down because there is little force in it, he summons Nue. 10 Shadows technique. Nue! Nue picks him off the ground, dodging the oily coating as he hovers above Diddy. Megumi controls and Nue throws a lightning attack at Diddy, but he dodges it with incredible speed. Megumi notices something strange about his expression as he winces and begins dodging Nue. Diddy doesn't remix the attack. I am nothing like you! Then the three young sorcerers are able to coordinate a combined attack that pushes Diddy back. Realizing he's outnumbered and that the battle has drawn attention, Diddy makes a tactical retreat. This isn't over, he warns. And tell your Master Gojo to bring his hollow booty next time. We need to warn everyone, Megumi says as they begin to realize just how crazy things are getting. He looks at Nobara one last time, waving the cursed receipt. This conversation isn't over, Kugisaki. Remember, now I own a piece of you. With that, his domain collapses. Diddy disappears in a swirl of slippery energy, leaving behind only the echo of his laughter. Anime Lover Boy here, mid-editing. I just wanted to pause the video and ask you to subscribe if you like this kind of video. And while you're down there, why not leave a like as well? In the aftermath of the confrontation, Diddy retreats to regroup and expand his influence. The Bad Boy Dynasty doesn't dissolve, it evolves. Now operating more from the shadows, Diddy focuses on quality over quantity, targeting sorcerers with connections to the Jujutsu higher-ups. We see Diddy in a luxurious apartment, surrounded by cursed receipts floating in the air like black butterflies. He studies them, organizing them by usefulness. Information is power, he mutters to himself, and I have the receipts to prove it. His network grows more sophisticated. He plants spies in every major Jujutsu family and institution. Even some older, established sorcerers find themselves caught in his web, their secrets exposed and exploited. The underground arena expands to multiple locations across Tokyo to host Diddy's cursed gladiator games. But now there's a twist. The participants are no longer just Diddy's followers. Some are sorcerers who crossed him, forced to fight as punishment. Others are just there because Diddy holds something over someone they care about. Meanwhile, Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara try to counter Diddy's growing influence. They work with other students who've revisited joining the dynasty, creating a small resistance, but they're hampered by the fact that Gojo is still away on his mission, and the other teachers are either compromised or unconvinced of the threat Diddy poses. Nobara, still carrying the weight of her exposed secret, trains with renewed intensity. If we can't beat him physically, she reasons, we need to find another way to counter his technique. Megumi researches domain expansion investigations, looking for weaknesses in Diddy's bad boy oasis. Every domain has a condition, he explains. If we can understand the rules of his domain, we might find a way to resist it. Yuji focuses on raw power, pushing his control over Sukuna's abilities to new limits. What none of them realize is that Diddy is watching their every move. His network of informants reports back on their training, their strategies, their conversations. He's always one step ahead. This world needs to be remixed, and we're the ones who'll do it, he tells his followers. His words are met with fanatic devotion from his followers. The Bad Boy Dynasty has become a cult, with Diddy as its leader. Their slogan, whispered in reverent tones, love is just another form of control. As Diddy's empire reaches its peak, a new player enters the game, Hiromi Higuruma, the justice-obsessed lawyer turned sorcerer. In this timeline, his awakening happens independent of the events of the Calling Games arc. Drawn by rumors of corruption and manipulation within the Jujutsu world, Higuruma begins his own investigation into the Bad Boy Dynasty. By now, Diddy's reign is becoming absolute, but he begins to become increasingly paranoid. He begins to question the loyalty of even his closest followers, demanding new secrets, creating new cursed receipts to ensure their compliance. Loyalty through fear is the only loyalty that lasts, he tells his inner circle, but his escalating demands push many to their breaking point. Meanwhile, Hiromi Higuruma's investigation inches closer to the heart of the Bad Boy Dynasty. Unlike Nobara, who approached the investigation emotionally, Higuruma is methodical, dispassionate. He builds a case like a prosecutor, gathering evidence, testimonies, and proof of Diddy's manipulation. When one of Diddy's former followers breaks ranks and agrees to testify against him, Diddy's paranoia explodes. He unleashes his domain on the traitor, forcing them to reveal every secret they've ever kept. The psychological torture is so severe that the follower's mind breaks under the strain. This act of cruelty becomes the catalyst that finally unites various factions against Diddy. Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara team up with Higuruma, pooling their knowledge and strength. Higuruma comes up with a plan to counter Diddy's ability. The plan is radical, voluntary vulnerability. They begin by sharing their own secrets with each other, removing Diddy's potential leverage. Nobara finally reveals what Diddy learned in his domain, a secret about her past that she's been ashamed of for years. To her surprise, her friend's support doesn't waver. This strategy spreads. More students, even some of Diddy's followers, begin confessing their secrets openly, rendering their cursed receipts powerless. Each confession weakens Diddy's network, like threads being cut from a web. Diddy, sensing the change, calls for a final showdown. If you want to end this, he announces to the resistance, come to where it all began. The final battle takes place in the original underground arena where Diddy's journey began. The symbolism isn't lost on anyone present. This is where his trauma started, and where he intends to reclaim his control once and for all. Yuji, Megumi, and Nobara stand together, facing Diddy, who waits for them at the center of the arena, microphone already in hand. Welcome to the main event, Diddy calls out, his cursed energy coating his body in that characteristic shimmering oil. Tonight's performance will be your last! Yuji moves first, charging forward with incredible speed. I don't care how slippery you are, I'll still hit you, he shouts, launching a barrage of punches enhanced with cursed energy. Diddy smiles, his body weaving between Yuji's attacks like water flowing around rocks. Too predictable, he taunts, each punch sliding off his slippery swagger defense. The few blows that connect seem to have minimal impact as they glance off his protection. Divergent Fist! Yuji roars, focusing his cursed energy to detonate a moment after physical contact. The delayed blast catches Diddy by surprise, sending him skidding backward across the arena floor. Not bad. Diddy wipes a trickle of blood from his lips. But can you handle this? He raises his microphone and points it at Yuji. Take that! Take that! Suddenly, Yuji's own Divergent Fist technique comes hurtling back towards him, forcing him to dodge his own remixed attack. Megumi seizes the opportunity of distraction. 10 Shadows technique. Toad! The Shikigami erupts from the ground, lunging at Diddy from behind. Diddy spins at the last second, slipping away from most of the impact, but its tongue grazes his shoulder. He whispers, touching the Shikigami. Instantly, Shikigami's form wavers, his body becoming coated with the same oil-like substance as Diddy's aura. Its eyes glow blue as it turns against Megumi. My Shikigami! Megumi leaps backward as Nue charges at him. He materializes his serpent Shikigami to counter the attack. Megumi recalls his Shikigami, taking it back before Diddy uses it against him. Nobara steps forward, hammer raised. Let's see you remix this. Resonance! She drives a nail into a straw doll, channeling her cursed energy through it to attack Diddy Diddy from a distance. For a moment, the technique works. Diddy winces as the damage transfers to him through her resonance, but then he laughs, pulling out her cursed receipt. Nice try, Kugasaki, but I know your weakness now. The sight of her secret in his hands makes Nobara hesitate, just long enough for Diddy to counter. Maximum slippery swagger! Diddy's cursed energy explodes outward, covering the entire arena floor in a slick, impossible to grip surface. All three sorcerers struggle to maintain their footing. Nobara dashes sideways, getting out of the goo as she charges up maximum resonance. He smacks the nails charged with cursed energy. She sends it towards Diddy, stunning him as he staggers backwards. Megumi seizes the opportunity. 10 Shadows technique. Nue! The massive bird-like Shikigami with lightning crackling across his wings bursts from his shadow, soaring towards Diddy. Diddy's eyes light up with opportunity. He reaches out toward the approaching Shikigami. Microphone raised. Take that now! Megumi shouts suddenly. Lightning explodes from Nue's wings, striking downward in a brilliant flash. Diddy's eyes widen as he throws himself sideways with incredible speed, his slippery swagger allowing him to slide away from the electrical attack. But something's different. Where the lightning struck, Diddy's oil-like aura flickered and dispersed completely for a brief moment before reforming. Interesting. Megumi mutters, a satisfied smirk crossing his face. Just as I suspected. Lightning bypasses your oil completely, doesn't it? Diddy's confident expression falters just for a second before his arrogant mask returns. Lucky shot. Was it? Megumi raises his hand again. Nue! Continuous lightning! The Shikigami responds immediately, sending crackling bolts of electricity throughout the arena. Diddy moves with inhuman speed, sliding and dancing between the strikes. But now he's clearly on the defensive. Yuji! Nobara! Now's our chance! Megumi calls out. The coordinated assault begins. Yuji charges in from the left while Nobara attacks from the right, forcing Diddy to split his attention. Lightning continues to rain down around them, creating a deadly electric maze that Diddy must navigate while fighting. Straw doll technique. Resonance! Nobara drives a nail into her doll, the cursed energy seeking Diddy even as he slides away. Diddy winces as the technique connects, but immediately counters by pointing his microphone at her. Take that! Take that! The resonance energy comes flying back toward Nobara, but she's ready, diving behind cover. Yuji presses the attack, throwing rapid fire punches that keep Diddy moving. You can't keep dodging forever! A bolt of lightning crashes down mere inches from Diddy's head, singeing the air around him. The electrical energy disrupts his curse technique for a split second, and Yuji's next punch connects solidly with his ribs. Cat! Diddy slides backward, his oily aura flickering. Blood trickles from the corner of his mouth. For the first time, he looks genuinely pressured. Another lightning strike. Diddy dodges, but it forces him directly into Nobara's line of fire. Hairpin! She shouts, launching her technique with deadly precision. Diddy tries to remix the attack, but another bolt of lightning disrupts his concentration. The hairpin tears through his shoulder, drawing a pained grunt. It's getting annoying, Diddy mutters, but his usual swagger is cracking. He's breathing harder now, his movements slightly less fluid as the constant pressure of coordinated attacks and lightning strikes begin to wear him down. Yuji and Nobara continue their relentless combo. Yuji feints left, Nobara strikes from range. Lightning forces Diddy into uncomfortable positions. Each exchange chips away at his defenses. Each dodge becomes slightly more desperate. Maximum slippery swagger! Diddy shouts, his cursed energy exploding outward in a last-ditch effort to create distance, but Nue responds immediately, lightning crashing down into the oily energy field and dispersing large portions of it. What should have been an impenetrable defense becomes riddled with gaps. Diddy finds himself backed against the arena wall, his breathing labored, multiple small wounds bleeding through his expensive suit. For the first time, genuine irritation crosses his features. Alright, he snarls, raising his microphone high. I'm done playing games. Time to wrap this up so I can get back to rebuilding my empire. His cursed energy surges as he prepares for his ultimate technique. Domain expansion! Bad boy oasis! He waits for the familiar tropical paradise to materialize around them. He waits for the glossy black surface and neon palm trees. Nothing happens. Diddy's eyes widen in shock. He tries again, pouring more cursed energy into the technique. Domain expansion! Bad boy oasis! Still nothing. Not even a flicker of his domain's power. Megumi steps forward as he tells him, "You've lost too many of those secrets." Nobara adds, realizing what Megumi figured out. Your cursed receipts are gone. Your psychological hold over people is broken. Diddy's face twists with rage and desperation. This is the moment his carefully constructed image finally cracks completely. That's impossible! I am the remix king! I am! You're finished. The voice comes from behind them. Everyone turns to see who was stepping into the arena, his gavel already materializing in his hand. Diddy Sean Combs. Higuruma speaks with the authoritative tone of a prosecutor. You stand accused of manipulation, extortion, and the abuse of cursed techniques. It's time you face judgment. Another player enters the game? Diddy says, eyeing Higuruma cautiously. And who might you be? Hiromi Higuruma, former defense attorney, current executor of justice. Higuruma raises his gavel high. Court is now in session. The air around them shifts as Higuruma activates his domain expansion. Deadly sentencing! The arena transforms into a courtroom, with Diddy suddenly finding himself in the defendant's chair. The rules of Higuruma's domain force a form of trial where Diddy's actions are examined impartially. What is this? Diddy demands, finding his slippery swagger significantly weakened within the judicial domain. In my courtroom, everyone receives a fair trial, Higuruma explains, but your actions speak for themselves. Evidence of Diddy's manipulation materializes in the air. Images of his gladiator rings, the forced confessions, the cursed receipts used to blackmail innocent sorcerers. I have a right to defend myself, he says. Well, Higuruma says, I did what I had to. I had to teach young sorcerers to be stronger. The road is never pretty. You lied. You took lives. Higuruma tells him, is this your plea? I object. I plead not guilty. Diddy shouts, trying to activate his own domain to counter Higuruma's. Bad boy oasis! But within the confines of deadly sentencing, his domain fails to fully manifest. The court finds the defendant guilty. Higuruma pronounces, raising his gavel. The sentence, confiscation. The gavel comes down with a thunderous crash. A brilliant light envelops the courtroom, focusing on Diddy's microphone, the cursed tool at the center of his power. No! Diddy lunges for it, but it's too late. The microphone rises into the air, suspended by Higuruma's judgment, before shattering into countless fragments of light. The courtroom fades, returning them to the arena. Diddy stands there, microphone gone. His take that ability stripped away. It's over, Diddy, Yuji says, stepping forward. Never! Diddy snarls, his slippery swagger intensifying around him in desperation. I still have this! What follows is an intense, close quarters battle. Even without his microphone, Diddy's slippery technique makes him nearly impossible to pin down. He slides between attacks, countering with vicious strikes of his own. Nobara creates an opening, launching a barrage of nails that force Diddy to dodge in a specific direction. He's all yours, Megami! 10 Shadows technique. Rabbit escape! Megumin calls out. Suddenly, dozens of white rabbits pour from the shadows, their cute appearance belying their purpose. They swarm toward Diddy, who tries to slip away but finds them everywhere he turns. Seriously? Rabbits? Diddy slides between them, but more keep coming. This is ridiculous! I'm getting jumped at! The rabbits begin piling onto him, their bodies absorbing his orally cursed energy. Not the stone bunnies! Despite his protest, Diddy finds his slippery swagger being literally absorbed by the mass rabbits clinging to him. His movements become sluggish as his defensive technique is drained away. 10 Shadows technique. Great serpent! Megumin continues his combination. A massive snake emerges from the shadows, coiling around both Diddy and the mass of rabbits. The serpent's body tightens, creating an inescapable grip that prevents Diddy from using his slippery technique to escape. Diddy struggles against the binding, but the snake's hold is absolute. For the first time in years, he's completely immobilized. Yuji steps forward, his fist beginning to glow with concentrated cursed energy. Time seems to slow as he focuses all his power into a single, devastating attack. Black Flash! Yuji roars, connecting with a devastating punch that sends shockwaves throughout the entire arena. The impact is so powerful that it shatters the snake binding, disperses the rabbits, and sends Diddy flying across the arena to crash into the far wall, creating a massive crater in the concrete. As dust and debris rain down, silence falls over the arena, but when the dust settles, Diddy is nowhere to be found. All that remains is a single, crushed cursed receipt, flickering with the last traces of cursed energy. Nobara walks over, picks it up, and studies it in silence, her expression cold and unreadable. Then slowly, she smirks and crushes the receipt in her hand. What do you think about this what if? And what wild scenarios should we explore next? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed the JJK what if scenario, hit that like button and subscribe for more. You won't want to miss it.